You know that credit card in your wallet? Its origin story is, well, it's a complete disaster. We're going to unpack the wild, frankly unbelievable story of how one of the biggest business blunders ever gave us the way we pay for, well, everything. Let's start with a puzzle. How does a $9 million mistake, and we're talking a fortune in the 1950s, how does that not sink a company? Better yet, how does it end up putting them on a path to like global domination? It just doesn't seem possible, right? Well, that's because this spectacular failure, it didn't lead to ruin at all. It actually sparked a revolution. It forced everyone to completely rethink how money, trust, and even your identity could all work together in a way that, honestly, no one had ever imagined before. And the result? A system that now processes over $15 trillion in transactions every single year. It's basically the invisible highway that powers the entire global economy. And yeah, the card right there in your pocket. You really have to hear this story to believe it. Okay. So to really get how we got here, we have to rewind, way back. Our story doesn't start with plastic, but with a person. This man,
Amadeo Giannini.
he was the son of Italian immigrants, and he had a totally radical idea about what a bank could and should be. See, back in the early 1900s, if you were an immigrant, the big banks basically pretended you didn't exist. You were invisible. So Giannini did something wild. In 1904, he started the Bank of Italy, specifically for the people everyone else was ignoring. And this small bank for the little guy, it grew so big that by the 1930s, after being renamed Bank of America, it was the wealthiest bank on the planet. Just incredible. All right, let's jump forward a few decades. Gianni's Bank, this institution built on serving the underserved, is now facing a brand new world. We're talking about the post-World War II economic boom in America. You've got this huge new middle class popping up, and they want to buy stuff. Cars, homes, all the new appliances. But here's the problem. Getting a small loan, say for a new refrigerator, was a total pain. Just tons of paperwork and a lot of waiting around. And at the same time, people's wallets were getting, well, just ridiculously thick. You had a separate card for the gas station, another one for the airline, one for the department store. They were called charge cards, and each one only worked at one place. It was just a complete mess, super inconvenient. And that's when this guy, an employee at Bank of America named Joseph Williams, has this light bulb moment, a total stroke of genius. He asks this simple but game-changing question. Why don't we just combine all these cards into one? A single card that works everywhere for everything.
So the execs at the bank, they loved this idea. They thought, let's run a little experiment, a pilot program to test it out. What they had no idea about was that this little test was about to become one of the most famous failures in business history. We're talking about the Fresno fiasco.
So get this. In a move that is just mind-boggling today, Bank of America mailed out
60,000 live
activated credit cards. They called them BankAmericards, and they sent them to pretty much every single household in Fresno, California. It didn't matter if you were a customer or not, you got a card. And here's where it gets really crazy. Every single one of these cards they just mailed out to strangers, it came with a $300 credit limit, which back then was a pretty good chunk of change. The bank seriously thought they were giving people a gift. They figured everyone would be thrilled. Just imagine for a second, you go to your mailbox and there's a piece of plastic you never asked for, and it's basically promising you $300. What are you gonna think? Yeah, a lot of people in Fresno thought it was exactly what it looked like. Free money. It was just chaos. Absolute chaos. Fraud was everywhere. Then, a month later, when the bills started arriving, people were like, what's this? My card must have been stolen, or they just flat out didn't have the cash to pay for the spending spree they just spent on. So, in just the first month, the bank lost a staggering $9 million. The whole thing was a complete and utter disaster. And in a really tragic twist, Joseph Williams, the guy with the billion-dollar idea, he got fired. I mean, it was a catastrophe. But somewhere in the wreckage of the Fresno fiasco, Bank of America had this huge realization. People wanted the convenience of a credit card. The idea itself wasn't the problem, the execution was. They realized they didn't just need a card, they needed a whole system. A system built on trust and accountability. And you know where they found the key to building that system? In the most random place, the U.S. government's Social Security program. They realized that the Social Security number was the perfect, unique identifier. It could be used to link a person to their financial behavior. It was like a financial fingerprint. That right there was the birth of the credit system as we know it today. By linking every card to a social security number, the bank could suddenly track everything: payments, debts, and build what we now call a credit history for every single person. It was more than just tracking debt, though. It became a reputation system. If you pay your bills, you're trustworthy. If you don't, well, that financial reputation follows you.
So, with this new system of trust in place, the BankAmericard was relaunched, and this time it was a huge success. But what Bank of America did next, that was even more revolutionary. Instead of keeping this super profitable new technology all to themselves, they did something nobody expected. They started licensing the whole BankAmericard system out to their biggest competitors. They literally turned their rivals into paying customers. It was brilliant. And this whole idea was pushed by a visionary banker named Dee Hock. He saw the bigger picture. He said, look, why should every bank build its own separate system to compete with each other? Why don't we all just collaborate and build one massive shared financial highway that everyone can use? He understood it would create this incredibly powerful network effect. That's pretty much exactly what they did. The banks got together and formed an independent organization to manage this shared network. Then, in 1975, as they were getting ready to go global, Dee Hock gave it a new name. Something simple, something memorable, something anyone in the world could say: Visa.
So let's jump to today. In 2023 alone, Visa's revenue was, wait for it, $40 billion.
And here's the kicker. Visa makes all that money without lending a single cent. They don't take on any risk. They don't sell any actual goods. They just take a tiny little slice from every single transaction that happens on that massive global network. A network that was born from a $9 million failure in Fresno. So you go from a bank for immigrants to a disastrous mail-out to a global financial network that connects us all. It's an incredible story, and it just goes to show you that even a catastrophic failure, if you learn the right lesson from it, can absolutely change the world. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What seemingly simple, maybe even flawed idea out there today is just waiting for its moment.